Hey everyone, it's your girl Anna and this is another Tootsie Blabber video. Today I'm going to talk about celiac disease because first of all, it's a celiac awareness month, and second of all, I myself have a celiac disease. If you have no idea what celiac disease is, you should stay here and you should educate yourself. Let's start from the beginning. I've had stomach issues my entire life. I got bloated, I had weird pains here and there, but whenever I went to doctor, it was always like, you're stressed out, calm down, take it easy in life. And in some of these times, I was really chillaxed, so it just didn't make any sense what doctors were saying. I never even tried to test which food I can avoid and feel better because no one ever advised me to do such a thing. Okay, before I start with my story, I'm gonna start with facts. So what is celiac disease? Celiac disease is a serious autoimmune disease. When people like me eat gluten, which is a protein that can be found in rye, wheat, and barley, our small intestine gets attacked. So in small intestine, we have this jiggly wiggly things. I don't know what they're called, but anyway, they get burned. And through these things, you get all nutritions to your body, which we, people with celiac disease, if we eat gluten, we don't get those nutritions to our body. And that can cause like serious illnesses, other autoimmune diseases, and so on and so on. Let's start with symptoms. First of all, adults and children have a little bit different symptoms. If you're an adult and if you're thinking, I might have a celiac disease because I'm bloated and I have diarrhea after what I eat, it actually might not be true because adults are less likely to develop stomach issues, diarrheas. It's more common with the kids. If you're suspecting that you might have a celiac disease or one of your family members, here's a checklist made by Celiac Disease Foundation, and it's pretty good, I would say. Some people have absolutely no symptoms. I was kind of lucky to find out that I have a celiac disease because I had pain in my stomach, which is kind of like very obvious thing. But many people don't have any kind of symptoms. And there are so many different kind of symptoms. Actually, there are over 200 different symptoms. That's why they call it chameleon disease. Some people may develop celiac disease as a child and some of them can develop it as an adult. Why is it like that? No one knows. It's a very mysterious disease still until today. Unfortunately, there is no cure for it. The only thing that you can do is avoid gluten. And I don't mean like avoid gluten, I mean avoid gluten. Gluten is your number one life enemy. If you ever wondered, why do I have to know if this chocolate bar may contain traces of gluten? It's because of me. It's because of people with celiac disease, because even small traces of gluten can attack my small intestine. Celiac disease is hereditary, which means that it runs in the family. If your first degree relative, if they have a diagnosed celiac disease, you have a chance of 1 in 10 that you might have it too. Let's go to testing and diagnosis. The only accurate way to find if you have a celiac disease is to take intestinal biopsy. There is also a possibility to find out if you have a celiac disease through blood tests. With blood tests, it's kind of tricky because if you test positive, you 100% have celiac disease. But if you test negative, you still might have it because not all the antibody levels are showing in the blood tests. So they actually have to go to your small intestine and take that biopsy, unfortunately. That's the bad part of it. But that's the only thing, like when they discover it, it's done. If you went to intestinal biopsy and you discover that you don't have celiac disease, you might actually have non-celiac gluten/wheat sensitivity. And you just have to avoid gluten for the rest of your life. Even though it's not the same disease, it does harm your body in a bit different ways. What is really important before testing or getting intestinal biopsy is that you're actually on a gluten diet. So don't start avoiding gluten because you're gonna have a fake results. Many people, when they start taking gluten out of their diet, they are like, okay, I feel better, I don't wanna eat gluten anymore at all. And then they go and test themselves and they actually have celiac disease, but their body recovers, they get fake negative result from their biopsy. So please don't avoid gluten if you don't have diagnosis yet. Few tips if you just got diagnosed with celiac. Divide all the non-gluten-free food with gluten-free food. Your gluten-free food should always be on the above shelf. If your gluten-free stuff would be below gluten, and some of the, for example, gluten flour would fall on it's automatically contaminated, which means that it contains gluten. So everything gluten-free always goes on top. Avoid using wooden cutlery. It is a bit extreme, and I was like a bit skeptic about it, but I kind of threw all the wooden cutlery from my home, and I'm using only plastic ones from then on. Why? Because if my boyfriend cooks something with a wooden spoon with gluten, and then I would use it later on, wood absorbs that gluten somehow, and it may stay between these like woods, and then you kind of use it later on, and then you contaminate your food at the same time. It is pretty extreme, so be careful about it. Tea bags might contain gluten, and your makeup products, so be careful. I'm not that super sensitive when it comes to, for example, nail polishes, which might contain gluten, but be careful because some people who are super sensitive might even react to that. So the roughest part when you find out that you have a celiac disease is the beginning. For me, first 6 months were hell. I was crying every day. I didn't understand what I have to eat, how I have to eat. I had nightmares. I was dreaming that I'm eating bread. And in Croatia, we have a lot of pastries, like pastry shops are on every single corner of every single street. I ate so much bread during my life, and I was just dreaming about all those breads that I ate, and then I'm nauseous and my small intestine is burning and stuff like that. It was awful. Second thing, you're gonna eat healthy for the rest of your life. All these products that are replacements for the food that contains gluten are usually healthier. You're gonna learn to find which food you can eat. Yes, you're gonna have to read every single product in the store, but remember, you're gonna be buying pretty much the same products for a longer period of time, and you're gonna know already by heart which you can pick from the store, right? All the food that you can imagine on this planet, there's replacement in gluten-free version for everything, for pasta, for bread, for chocolate bars, cornflakes, everything comes in gluten-free version. Bad side of it, they put gluten in mostly everything, so you really have to read and know what you're buying. You're gonna find people in the community that have celiac disease. Big plus. Third, you're probably gonna help someone who has celiac disease. My friend Marina just got discovered a few months ago, and I'm so proud of her. She's doing well, she's getting healthier and happier. Okay, let's go back to my story. I moved to Finland in autumn, actually at the end of summer in 2015, and they discovered, doctors in Lapland, that I have celiac disease in, I think, October 2015, only a couple of months later. And what happened? So I started noticing weird pains in my stomach, and I lost a little bit of weight, which I thought it's somehow related of my moving and stress levels. But basically those stress levels that I had just boosted the celiac disease, and then it went just worse and worse. I went to see a doctor, I told them my symptoms, and they were like, you might have celiakia, which is a celiac disease in Finnish. You should go to gastroscopy. You know, they're gonna put a tube in your mouth and they're gonna get that little biopsy of your stomach. And I was like, what? What is that? And that's how it went. I went to gastroscopy, I got diagnosis only a week later, and I was like, this is the end. And it wasn't. Now you know how I got celiac disease. That's why I like to say that Finland saved my life. And not just that. Finland has the highest detection rate of celiac disease in the whole world, which is about 70%, which is a huge number because it is really hard to find the disease. What was great here is like when I got diagnosed, I didn't know much about the celiac disease. My boyfriend's mom has celiac disease. We were dating for like over a year when I found out that I have celiac disease. So I kind of knew that it exists because she had it, and during that year of time I heard about it, but I didn't pay attention to it. But most of my friends and family never heard about celiac disease, which only proves that the discovery rate in Croatia, in my country, is very low. And not just there, in most of the countries in the world. In Finland, it's estimated that 2.4% of adults between 30 and 65 have celiac disease, and then 1 in 99 children have celiac disease, which is a huge number. But can you imagine how many people around the world have it, where the rate of diagnosis is not that high? That's crazy. Knowing that one of my family members, they probably do have a celiac, but they don't know they have it. Because I have that gene, which means that it runs in my family, but no one knows about it. So living in Finland, which is definitely a headquarter of celiac disease in the whole world, feels really good. Local restaurants in the whole country take gluten-free diet really seriously, and then you know if you have a celiac disease, yes, I know that I'm gonna 100% get gluten-free meal in front of me. Whereas when I travel, it's always a bit tricky, because if I say that I have a celiac disease, people won't know about it. Here's the awareness part. People are not aware of it, people don't know about it, and then I'm like, okay, it's better to say that I have gluten allergy, which is kind of not what I have, because allergy is kind of alerty, and then they might be like, oh, okay. And then people usually think of what is gluten. People are not even aware of what's gluten, and I can say that freely because I didn't know what gluten is, to be honest, before I got celiac. I had to Google a lot about it. So if you have a celiac disease or any kind of gluten intolerances, there's celiac, gluten intolerance, and gluten allergy. If you have it, Finland is the right place for you. Visit Finland. Celiac people, including me, we're still hoping that there would be one day this beautiful treatment or cure for our disease. Unfortunately, there isn't, but then on the other hand, it's not like we have to take billions of pills. We just have to avoid little frenemy gluten. That's all. Let me know if you have celiac disease, gluten intolerance, or gluten allergy. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something new, and I hope this was fun, if nothing else. If you like this video, press like, subscribe, and if you want to say something a little bit about this topic, please leave a comment. Love you guys, bye!